The Hash It Out Show is brought to you by Barreto Home Solutions, Bayou Audio and Video, Hot Works on the North Shore, JFK Martial Arts in Mandeville and Covington, Black Hawk Hauling, Lil Dizzy's Cafe, Wags Food and Culture, Moe's Pizza, The Green Law Firm, Personal Injury Attorney, Drums Earwear.
Hands up, hands up, hands up. If you winning and you don't give a fuck about a hater, tell them move. Clear my area, move. Clear my area, move. Clear my area, move. Clear my area. Cause I'm winning, I'm winning, I'm winning. 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 Hands up, hands up, hands up. If you winning and you don't give a fuck about a hater, tell them move. Clear my area, move. Clear my area, move. Clear my area, move. Clear my area. Cause I'm winning, I'm winning, I'm winning. I'm winning, I'm winning, I'm winning. I'm winning, I'm winning, I'm winning. I'm winning, I'm winning, I'm winning.
Welcome to the Hash It Out Show. I am your host, JB the Sports Guy. Thank you all for joining us. We got a big show for you all tonight. We have Otis Robinson, the head coach of the Wossman girls basketball team, joining us at 7:40. We also have Kevin Thomas, the head coach of the Bastrop Rams girls basketball team, joining us at 8:20. Both of those two teams will be in action tomorrow night as they are playing for the outright district championship. I'm also joined by my co-host, the one and only George Peppers, that you can find on CrescentCitySports.com. What's going on, George Peppers?
What's going on, JB? I'm doing wonderful. Yeah, as you said, it's a big show tonight. Three huge guests, three impactful teams that are going to make big impacts in the upcoming playoffs. It's episode 118 of the Hash It Out Show. Like, tag, share, and subscribe, and also check out the hashitoutshow.com. Lots of great content, lots of great interviews, game footage, all you can want. Hashitoutshow.com. Check it out. You'll be glad you did.
Most definitely. And as you heard, my co-host, we have three guests today. Our first guest joining us, he is the head coach of the Jesuit Blue Jays basketball team. He is in his 34th season as the head coach. He is a state championship winning coach, winning back in 2001 over my alma mater of Archbishop Shaw. We have the one, the only coach, Chris Jennings. Coach Jennings, how you doing? And thank you for joining us on the show.
We're doing well tonight, and thank you for
Yes,
having
sir.
me.
Truly appreciate it. Coach, who do you credit with teaching you the game of basketball?
Man, that goes back a long way. I started playing when I was 5 years old. You know, back then you could walk to the gym by yourself, and I was always at a place called Metairie Playground. And a guy who worked with me a lot and taught me a lot of stuff was a guy named Mike Quigley. Who just taught me a lot of stuff. A guy named Paul Baracos was always opening the gym for me to get in there. Then I went to high school, and I actually had my three oldest brothers. I come from a pretty big family. My three oldest brothers went to Jesuit. The next three went to Rummel. So when it came my time to go, it was going to be probably one of those schools. You know, Jesuit had a little interest in it, so I went to Jesuit. And then I played for a guy named Kevin Trower, who's an old Tom, but he's an old Tom great one. And then Dwayne Rebold came up right after him my sophomore year. And when I was in high school, I had Dwayne Rebold, Jerry Hernandez, Jimmy Tillette, and Johnny Pons. Those were the four guys influencing me. And those four guys were just tremendous coaches. Three of them coached in college for a very and then I went to Nichols, and I had Don Landry. And, he taught me a lot. But I would say probably my high school coaches had the biggest influence on me as a coach. and as a player and wanting to continue in this profession. And then actually, I went to Nichols, played ball there, and I was actually just home. My dad was sick. I was home taking care of him. It was a December day. I didn't know what I was doing. I graduated from Nichols. I was actually a graduate assistant at Nichols, but I was just kind of biding time. And in the gym one day, I was helping. They had like little 7th grade tournaments, and I was helping refereeing. And Jerry Hernandez was the guy who got me into this. He said, "Look, why don't you come interview for a job?" And that's kind of where it started. And it's a long time ago. But and so when Jerry Hernandez did that, I never even thought about it actually of coaching at Jesuit until he put that bug in my ear, and here we are, 40 years later, and I really haven't left.
Back in 2015, you got your 500 win as a head coach. What was the feeling like when you accomplished that goal?
Well, it's really, you just kind of go through every day and you're just practicing and winning games. The best thing about that game, probably for me, was I went up against the guy, John Ehret, Al Collins, who was our manager at Jesuit High School when I first started coaching. And I used to bring him home every day, not every day, but a lot of times because I lived in Gentilly. He lived out that way. And, he's a tremendous coach and a great guy. And that was neat for me. I don't know if it was neat for him, but it was neat for me that milestone came against his team. And, he's a tremendous coach. And it's quite an honor to do that with him and to be at one school for that long. I think it's tough to do. So it says something about the school I'm at. And I love it there, obviously. So it was quite a thing. But again, Al Collins being there made it a little bit extra special for me.
Let's go back in time a little bit, back to 2001. And a lot of people don't know this, but the semifinals for Class 5A featured 3 New Orleans area schools. 4. Jesuit, Archbishop Shaw, L.W. Higgins, and John Ehret. You guys beat L.W. Higgins in the semifinals. And then in the championship game, you took on Shaw for the 4th time that year. The previous 3 meetings, Shaw won. But when it all counted, Jesuit was the one cutting down the nets as the state champions. Talk about that season of 2001.
Well, it's a great season, and we were actually that was a very good team we had. We kind of had everything. We had guys who could shoot. We had Chad Barnes and Ryan Martin, and they could light it up. We had really good defenders, and Jeremy Ruther, who's actually going to be the principal at Jesuit next year, and Michael Venato. They could guard anybody. And then we had a kid named Tim Springer who was really good in the post. So we had everything covered and we could do anything. But the best thing about that team, we had gone on a tough stretch. We had lost some games, and I think we had lost to St. Aug, and we were better than them. We lost to them. And I said, all right, tomorrow morning, 6 o'clock in the gym. So they're all thinking, right, we're going to roll the balls out, get after it, all that. And I brought them in, and we talked about it. And we just talked for an hour. And every one of those kids just took it upon themselves. They blamed themselves for what had happened and why we were not going the right direction. And I'll just never forget, Chad Barnes being the big one. I mean, he just stood up there and said, this is my fault, and this is what we're going to do. And each guy followed after Chad. I gave him off that day, and we came back, and then that kind of started our roll. I don't think we lost the game after that. And on the road to the finals, I can't remember who we played here. Maybe somebody from Baton Rouge, maybe Robert E. Lee. But then we went to Lafayette. I think they had 1 loss that year. We beat them. Then we went up to Ouachita and played them and beat them really solid. Like, we put it to them pretty good. And then we got to the Final Four, and Higgins was very good that year. They were very talented. And we took care of that game. And then we had Shaw, and just in that first quarter, Ryan Martin was just ridiculous. Like, he's a little guy, but I always tell people Ryan Martin was the best against the best teams and absolutely the worst against the bad teams. He was terrible. But when you got to a good team, he was dynamite. And I remember Coach Lesh, who I knew very well, he was going to go with the big guy. I can't remember his name, but he went to Xavier, I believe. 6'7", 6'8", and they put him on. Yeah. So he put him on him, and Ryan just like, all right, let's go. And just, I mean, it was unbelievable. The first quarter was just like incredible. And then Shaw actually came back, and they might have tied it later. And then Chad, I remember Ryan made a big shot, and Chad made a big shot, and then we're kind of on our way. And to me, what sealed it for me that game was Jeremy took a charge on one, I don't remember which one. And when he took that charge, I was like, all right, we got it now. So that was a great feeling a long time ago. I hope to do it again at some point. You never know. You know, that was 20 years ago, and I was to be there.
Coach, this team this year that you have is a very, very good team. 22-3 record. Talk about your team right now. What is the mindset of your team going forward to towards the end of district play and to go into the playoffs?
All right. So we have a little size. We got 6'6", 6'5". That always helps out in the game of basketball. I think mostly it helps with our defense, because when people get by, now you got to contend with these guys. We got Jude LaForge, who kind of does everything for us. He scores, he handles the ball, he'll guard the other team's best player. He's muscular and big, and he's just a really, really good high school player. Then we have, so you got those two, you got Jude, you got Gus Lee, senior, about 6'2", I guess, and he can shoot a little bit. He's good off the dribble. So he gives us a little offensive firepower. And then the rest of the guys are kind of role players, but they do a great job. We start a sophomore, Zachary LeGraze, who can guard people. He gets his hands on balls. There are moments when he can really shoot it. He's really good. And defense on, we got, Brennan Pitts. He'll guard anybody, and he'll mix it up with anybody. We got PJ Briscoe coming off the bench, and he's real good in that role. So I guess that's 8. It's probably 10 or 11 guys. I'm trying to think of who I'm not thinking of here. But what I tell people is we're a well-rounded team, no stars. And on any night, like the other night against Brother Martin, we have a kid named Brewer Nitcher who's new to us, but he's really a good basketball player. But he scored, I think, 9 points against Brother Martin. So, other guys had to step up and score in his place, and they tend to do it. We play Rummel tomorrow, and our last game against Rummel, I mean, we're struggling. Rummel is just tough. They're just hard-nosed and tough guys, and the kid Zachary LeGraze had 16 or 17 on him or something, maybe 20, I don't remember. But so different guys can step up at different times and do certain things. Another little guard we got is Tanner Hughes, another sophomore. Can guard people, handle the ball for us, take care of it. He's solid. He'll hit an open three. So we're kind of deep, and we got some size. And the kids just really play. We really guard. We do a tremendous job defending people.
How good is the Catholic League this year in basketball? Because we got Jesuit, St. Augustine, Edna Carr, Brother Martin. This league looks very, very strong this year.
From top to bottom, it is the best I've seen. And I've been doing this a long time. There is not a weak team in the group. Usually you got 2 or 3 teams that, sometimes we've been one of them, but usually it's 2 or 3 teams who really can't compete with the best in the league. And that is just not the case. I think Curtis has 1 or 2 wins, right? They beat St. Aug. Rummel, I think, has 2 wins right now. They took St. Aug to overtime. And every night, it doesn't matter. Like, we're tied for first, our 5 wins. I would think every one of them came in the last couple of minutes except for one of them. So every one of them can play. They're all well coached. They're all well coached. They all come and get after you. And they got talent, I mean, you can go to Curtis. They got kids. Brother Martin's got kids. St. Aug's got kids. They all have talent on their teams. And then they're well coached and they all play. It's not like, hey, let's take a day off. If you take a day off, you're going to lose. If you don't come with your A game, you are going to lose. And sometimes you come with your A game, you're going to lose anyway. But from top to bottom, this is definitely the best it's been since I've been associated with this Catholic League, which is, I went to Jesuit. So 1973 is when I started. So for 50 years, top to bottom, it's the best.
George Peppers, I pass it to you.
Thank you, Coach Jennings. First of all, thank you for taking the time for joining us here on the show tonight through your busy schedule. And also, congratulations on the season that you have had up until this point. I want to piggyback off of one of Jared's questions about your depth. And as it relates to when you get to a playoff setting, do you think that's going to serve you well in the playoffs, or are you going to try to kind of maybe shorten the rotation a little bit?
No, I don't think we're going to shorten the rotation because they all add
Hmm.
something to the quality of the team. So I don't think we will. We've done it a little bit as this year's going
Right,
on. We've shortened it up, and now we're like, well, we need to expand this just because they all can contribute and add something, and they add something different to the team. I think defensively they add something different. I think offensively, when they come in, the other team has to adjust to the different kids because we go from last two games we haven't had Ethan Lopez. He's a 6'6"
right,
kid, um, and he's a good player and he's a tremendous passer. But when we take him out, then we got guys who can shoot the ball a little bit. We're playing Tanner Hughes. He can shoot the three. Brennan Pitts can shoot the three. So you're playing different kids who can do different things. So I think it gives a different
right.
dimension to who we
Hmm.
are. I have full confidence, just confidence in all of them that when they get in there, they're going to do the job. So I don't see any reason really to change anything up uh, in that regard.
When you look at this team, and the depth is what really is the envious part of it, and I love that. Um, I'm sorry, I just completely froze there for a second. I was going to say, does
All right.
this feel like this
I do
is the
that all
most?
the time.
You're good. I got it. Does this feel like the most complete team you've had at Jesuit of any of your teams that you've ever had?
Uh, no, I'm not going to say that because in 2010 we had, uh, we had some really good players on that team. I obviously are one. It is the lengthwise, it's the biggest team we've had. So
Hmm.
that makes a difference from that area. I wouldn't say that's hard because we've had, again, Chad Barnes was, that sucker would not miss
Yeah.
from inside the arc. He was really good. You go to Ryan Martin, you go to my 2000 team with Brady Haddon and Dominic Selfo and Colby Kiefer. Like those guys were, Dominic was going to play mid-level Division One basketball, and he went to Cornell. And Brady could have played at Tulane. He decided not to, but those were some pretty good teams. Maybe depth-wise, it's certainly from a depth standpoint, yes, I would say this is probably the deepest team I've had. But in different ways, again, it's different. We're just big this year. We do a lot of post work um, and things like that, which we've never really done before.
Not having seen your team play, I've yet to see your team play. I'd love to get a chance to watch you guys go.
Um,
But when you look at the landscape of Division One, the select side, you guys sit sixth in the power numbers, and obviously see who's in front of you, St. Thomas More and teams like that, Liberty and teams like that. How do you feel your team measures up against those kind of teams that are in front of you in the power numbers?
I think we match up with any of them for different reasons. I think Liberty's probably the class. I would think it's Liberty is the team that most people would say is the best
Hmm.
team. We've competed against teams that St. Thomas More has beaten in close games and beaten them. So I feel confident about that. I really don't know the other two teams that
Hmm.
well um, at all. I haven't seen them either, so I don't know. I know St. Thomas More a little bit. I know Liberty. I we'll see. I think we got a group that can meet that challenge. But Liberty, I think, is the class. I think anybody would tell you that Liberty is the team in our division. But again, you look up and down that
Sure.
lineup; it's pretty
And
solid.
that's pretty much the buzz around the state. People, when they talk about handicapping Division One, and Liberty's been a common team mentioned as one of the ones in Division One. I think you guys have a real opportunity, though. You guys, you mentioned you got a game against Rummel tomorrow night, and you beat them pretty good at home the last time you played them, 47-32. Game was close early, like you mentioned, and they got away from Rummel late. You guys were able to get away. Rematch tomorrow night at the Rummel Gym, and you mentioned how strong the Catholic League is. rematches. You're going to play
Well,
these
and
teams twice, but what are you going to have to do against this
by the
team
way,
tomorrow? I'm sorry.
I love the fact. I just want to make this point because it comes up every now and then. I love the fact that we play 2 rounds of
Yes.
games.
Oh, absolutely.
I love the fact that when we went to Brother Martin, that was an electric atmosphere. When they came to our place, that was electric. That was a great atmosphere for high school basketball.
Mhm.
I was looking at a picture a couple of years ago um, at Holy
Mhm.
Cross. If you would have seen the two student body sections, it was just awesome. Like one their color, the other one our color, and just the kids all into it. And I think we're going to get away from that. But man, it just brings a special thing to high school basketball. Let me get to Rummel. They're going to be tough. They fight through everything. Uh, the what happened in that game was we hit some
Right.
threes. Zach LeGray's had his season high, and if we do that again, we're gonna. I like our chances, but it's going to be a battle. They don't back down. They don't care who you are. They're just going to come after you, and they're
Mhm.
tough. They're physical. They really play physical, and we're just going to have to be ready to play. And if we're not, it's going to be a long night for us.
Playing in the Catholic League, you mentioned the depth, and there's some really, really good teams in this league. How does that serve you well as you get into the playoffs? I mean, some teams don't have the strength of district that you do. That obviously, Coach, I would imagine it would be a huge benefit for a program like yours going into a playoff setting, having played tough teams like Carr, Ogg, Brother Martin, and then Rummel tomorrow night. Teams like that, that should absolutely serve you well as we get to the playoffs.
Yeah, it should serve as well, but then it's style of play. And here's the thing you got to look
All
out
right.
for. Like you got to look out for. It's not going to be a packed gym. Like when we go, whatever that first round game is, there's not going to be very many people there. So then you have a little letdown, right? Our kids are thinking playoffs. It's not going to be like that. Like tonight, our soccer team is playing in the first round of the playoffs. Well, nobody's even talking about it. So you're going to have a letdown. That's what concerns me about the playoffs. We're so familiar with these guys, and it's such a rivalry, right? When we Holy Cross for us, St. August. I don't know if we're a rival like St. Aug thinks about us, but I love playing St. Aug, and they've had the best of me so many times. But I know, like, those are the guys, and that's who you got to play against, and that's who you got to compete against. Rummel. Like, I don't know what's going to happen in Rummel's gym tomorrow, but I've known my whole life. Like, man, you go into that gym, and there are times when it's packed, when they're not any good, and they're gonna, I think they beat us there last year, and they've had some wins against us recently at their gym. So you get fired up for these rivals, and I know Coach Thompson very well. I coached him, and he coached with me, and you get emotional. And then the playoffs come, it's like, like last year, Alexandria, we were terrible. Like we were 8 seed, they were 9 seed, they kicked our butt. And we just weren't ready, just emotionally. And that's on me. And that's what I worry about when we get into the playoffs, is that. And if we can do that, if we can be fired up and as focused as we've been for this whole year, like we've really been focused and we've had some great wins, we'll be fine. But you got to keep that focus. And sometimes when you come off a night like, I don't know if you saw the Crescent City Sports thing on it. It was just, the gym was packed.
Mhm.
The bands were going. Their students were fired up. Our students were fired up. And it was just awesome. But, to me, basketball's awesome out in the playground. But that might not be like that for those kids, right? So we'll
True.
see what happens when it comes to the playoffs. And hopefully I do a better job of getting them ready. And I got a great coaching staff. My coaching staff is phenomenal, how hard they work and the game plans they come up with. And I think they're going to do a phenomenal job of helping getting those kids. I know I'm the guy sitting here talking to
Sure.
you, but Jonathan Hernandez and Jason Template and Cameron Eckel, they should be sitting here with me because they play a great role in what we do.
Last question. I'm
Anyway,
sorry. I was going to say
that's
last question, Coach, before I turn it back over to Jared. You mentioned you actually were coming up to the question I was going to is I saw where Alexandria popped y'all last year in the playoffs. Seems like this year's team though is mature, obviously deep. Um, Obviously the end game is to win the state championship. And what's it going to take for your team to erase the bad memory of last year and try to make a run at the top 28?
Well, to keep that in our mind, that if you don't come and if you're not
Mm-hmm.
focused, then that's what's going to happen to you. You know, it's every night, and that is the one good thing, a great thing about this team we have is they do come. You know, I have to think long and hard about a bad game we had because of our play, and I can think of it, but it really had. There were other things involved with it, and we just didn't play well. Played hard, but we didn't play well. So to me, the best thing about this team is every night they do come to play. There's no foolishness. They have been very focused the whole year, and so I think that will carry us. And the kids on the team, we look out for each other. It's a great locker room. It's one of the best locker rooms I've ever been around, to be honest with you. But I've only been in the Jesuit locker room, so I can't speak to the others. But for Jesuit, it's really been a great locker room, far exceeding others.
I got 2 questions for you, and we get you out of here.
Sure.
First question, you talked about many of your players. I want you to talk about Philip Romelli and
Do I have to?
and one of the best players I've ever seen on a basketball court, Brandon Spann.
Brandon Spann. All right, so let's start with Philip. And we'll start with Philip. Philip is a really great friend of Jonathan Hernandez, my assistant coach. I'd call him a co-head coach, by the way. But they're best friends. They're always together. So Philip, early in his life, he'd show up to practice every day with his watch on his wrist. Like Philip, we don't wear watches in basketball. It's not tennis, right? He's a big tennis guy. So it took me about a year to get him to stop wearing the watch. But he was a real good player. He could shoot the ball really well. He could handle it really well. For his size, he could move and stuff like that. Worked pretty hard at the game. Then he went to Sanford and he did great there. And he has, by the way, he has a son now who I don't know if I'm going to be coaching that much longer, but he has a son that's pretty good. I saw him the other day. Philip's a great guy. I love him. Brandon Spann, that dude worked. That dude was in the gym 6 o'clock in the morning, and he worked. It wasn't, I'm getting up shots. It was drill. That guy made himself a great player. He worked. He was possessed by it. Now, I'll just always remember that. I used to open a gym for them in the morning, and man, at 7:30, he was sweating and he worked. He worked. And then he had that great personality. I'm sure you know him, obviously, but just a great personality, a great smile. So he was the best. I mean, that he worked. He got where he was because of how hard he worked at it. And it paid dividends for him.
Last question. You've been coaching 34 years. What is one of your greatest memories of coaching at Jesuit High School?
Oh, coaching. All right, let's go with a couple. The first one is going to be really not a Jesuit memory. And what, to me, high school coaching is really about, what the most important aspect of it. We're playing in the Newman tournament, and for some reason I was there early. It was a 3:30 game, so I guess we had the 4 o'clock game or whatever. And all I remember was 2 teams playing, John Ehret and Cohen, lose the brackets game. Nobody's in the gym. And all I could think of is how awesome those coaches were for being there with those kids. There was like one parent in the gym. And the value to those kids to have those coaches care about them and give them structure in their life and discipline that you got to be here. I don't know why. That's just something I'll never forget, and appreciating those 2 guys. And of course, one of them was Al Collins, but those 2 guys, I did not know the Cohen coach. That to me is the most important aspect of high school sports, giving those kids discipline, somewhere to go, teaching them about life and being with them and knowing that you care about those kids. My second memory, man, I tell you what, I can't go that far back. So let's just go to, I got a lot of them, but one is this year. We've hit 2 half-court game-winning shots, one against Landry and one against Canisius of New York. And that's kind of a neat thing. All my years coaching, that's never happened. We've hit game-winning shots. Elijah Morgan hit one for us. Brady Haddon's hit one for us. Trey LaForge, but never a half-court shot at the buzzer. So that was pretty exciting. I wish I could think. There's a ton of them, man. I can go back. to when Mike White was playing with me, and he would never listen to a word I said and all that stuff. He's at Georgia now, and uh, Foster Morrow, he played with us, and he'd be getting all these rebounds, couldn't make a shot, but he averaged 13, 13. The best athlete was Deion Jones by far, who's a linebacker in the NFL now. So there's a lot of great memories, but the greatest ones I'm living right now and today. And well, in this one, my last great memory was the other day after the game. I'm doing the interview with Crescent City Sports. My son's an 8th grader at Jesuit. Walks up to him. I get to give him a big bear hug in the gym after the game. So that was really a cool and neat thing for me as well. But it's been an honor and Jesuit High School for me is a great, great place. I think they do so many great things there outside of sports and all that other stuff. We live a life of giving back to the community and giving to others. And so I'm just fortunate to be there around all the people I've been around with. And again, I want to shout out to my coaches. Those 3 guys they're the best. I mean, they work hard, and we're prepared every night we got to play.
Most definitely. Coach Jennings, we want to thank you for joining us on the show tonight. We truly appreciate it. Good luck tomorrow night, and good luck throughout the rest of the season.
Thank you, and thank you for having me. And anytime, man. You guys are the
Thank
best.
you, Coach.
All right.
Coach Chris Jennings, he's been in the game a very, very long time. Like I said, defeated my alma mater for the state championship in 2001, over 500 wins. But I'm telling you, George, I saw this team the other night against Brother Martin.
Mm-hmm.
You heard Coach Jennings say it was electric. It was electric. And I'm being honest with you, in the playoffs, I don't know a team that could probably go into Jesuit and win in that arena with those fans being that electric. It was, when I say hostile, people don't think of hostile like dangerous. No, it's the crowd, loud, the whole game, especially when Jesuit is on defense. That is a hard place to play. But these guys here, when they get the ball, they get up the court quick, and then they run their offense. And us at Shaw, we call it offense forever, because it's always moving, nonstop, great ball movement, and defensively, it is hard to get the ball to the paint. They play good defense. I'm telling you, anyone that faces Jesuit, you better not overlook them. That is a hard team to beat. And what I saw Tuesday night, my God, it's hard, George.
And that's not a slouch. Brother Martin's a plenty good basketball team.
Yes.
And Jesuit just sliced and diced those guys the other night. I heard some of that game on Crescent City. Excuse me, Crescent City Sports the other night. That game was web streamed on Crescent City.
Mm-hmm.
With that said, I looked at their schedule, and one game caught my attention. And obviously we have a favorite. Hornville's head coach Erica Randolph. They beat Jesuit this year, 57-54. Don't know if you see that.
I see.
But I remember touting Hornville a little bit a couple of weeks ago when we talked about teams that are potential state championship contenders. That result tells me those boys, and that young lady have a real opportunity. But back to Jesuit, back to the centerpiece. I can't help but think that this team is going to be in the top 28. You just mentioned it. I mean, I've read some in places where it says when you go to Jesuit to play a ball game, those fans, hostile. I don't know. Hostile is for me is when you just down the other team and say stupid things about the other team. For me, it seems more that their enthusiasm for their team and what is more permeated in that gym, and they're on top of you. It feels like they're on top of you, from what I also read too. Jesuit, and I was thinking about cracking a joke when you said they beat Shaw. I was about to say, well, who doesn't beat Shaw for a title? I mean, y'all can't win it. Y'all can finish second, but y'all don't win titles. I mean, they give runner-up trophies. Y'all got a record for that, don't y'all? But all right,
I don't know what you're talking about.
oh man, get out of here.
Yeah, we got it in football. Don't worry.
I know you got that, but
97 and 2000 state champs in basketball.
that they do. But no, this Jesuit team, Jared. I mean, and Jude LaForce, and I wanted to ask him about Jude, but because he looks like one of their centerpiece players. I saw you talk to him the other night. What did he have? 16 and 13, I think, or something like that.
At 15 points for sure. 15 for sure.
Okay, but good kid, very humble kid when you talk to him. And I wanted to ask him about him because he actually mentioned him in when you had your round of questions with him. But and I remember reading about the Alexandria game because Alexandria, look, Central Louisiana basketball has made some come ups. Remember who broke through last year to win a state title of all public charter? They
Yeah.
won state. And Central Louisiana's got some quality basketball, and that team, I thought that was an anomaly that they wallop Jesuit the way they did, and that's why I asked him what I asked him at the end because I know Jesuit's a better program than that, and I think this Blue Jays team, and just hearing you talk about him because you saw him play, I obviously haven't. I mean, what's with my schedule and everything else, professional wise, but it wouldn't surprise me at all if this Jesuit team finds their way to the top 28. I feel like that they're ticketed for it, but again, it's all contingent on the bracket when it comes out. They're sitting sixth in the power numbers right now. If they can find their way maybe into the top four, uh, even at six, I still think they're a legit entity that has a real opportunity to make a big run to Lake Charles.
As you see right here, this is their remaining regular season schedule. 4 more district games.
Yep,
They
Rumble and
are
Curtis, not easy.
no, none of these gonna be easy. None of them gonna be easy. They are in first place in the district right now. They may have the
Hmm.
same record as Edna Carr, but they have beaten Edna Carr twice. They've beaten her twice, so Edna Carr has to finish with a better district record. They've lost to St. Augustine, as you can see, and they
Hmm.
split the series with Brother Martin. They control their own destiny. If they win out, it's theirs. But it's not going to be easy because
Hmm.
Curtis is still a good team. Rummel's a good team. Holy Cross
All.
is an up and coming team. But that all game next Thursday, that may be the game that decides the Catholic League, period. Because if all beats them, and let's say all is still one game behind them in the district, and now we're setting up maybe a three-way tie for district. We don't know, but
Mm.
Jesuit controls their own destiny. You say,
Well, we
go ahead.
I was going to say we know one person would be happy if St. Aug beat Jesuit, and he's not with us tonight, but he would be ecstatic. But I think the Catholic League, and look, you see Aug. I'm looking at them. They're ninth. Is that right? Yeah, they're number
Yes,
9
yes.
in the power points. Jesuit six, Brother Martin 7. I mean, the Catholic League strength tells you 3 teams in the top 10.
Four in the car.
4.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see. Okay, I see it in the car. My bad. Missed them. I keep wanting to kick them out of the Catholic League, but they don't want to go. But no, that's 4 teams in the top 10. That's just what more proof do you need that district is? I don't want to hear top heavy because that's a wide open district. And look, it's probably going to come down to the last game or two to who wins it. As you mentioned, Jesuits in the driver's seat, but the work ain't done because there's no gimmies on that schedule the rest of the way.
None at all. None at all.
Mm-mm.
Coach Jennings talked about some of the players he coached, and to me, the best player at Jesuit that I've ever seen was point guard Brandon Spann.
I was about to say, how do you not put that guy at any forefront of the list? Span was a facilitator and he could shoot it.
Yes.
That was a very good guard, good player for that group. Oh, okay, I keep getting used to. I'm seeing you moving from the schedule and all that. I'm like, wait a minute, I don't know if I lost you there
Oh,
for a
now we're
couple of
here.
times.
You good. Keep going. Keep
Oh,
going.
okay.
Yeah.
No, but every time I see you change it, I'm like, oh man, okay, what did
Nah,
I do? What's going
no,
on? Did I get kicked off?
you
Anyway,
good,
but
buddy.
no, Span was a guy that was an electric player for them, and yeah, I at any list that you make for Jesuit basketball, he's got to be near the forefront of that list at some point.
Most definitely. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a quick commercial break, a quick one. But when we come back, we will be joined by the head coach of the Wossman Lady Wildcats basketball team, Coach Otis Robinson, right here on the Hash It Out Show.
I'm Jordan Moore of the Hornville Tigers, and you're watching the Hash It Out Show.
Welcome back to the Hash It Out Show. I'm your host, JB the Sports Guy, joined by my co-host, George Peppers. In Northeast Louisiana tomorrow night, there is a big-time matchup. Bastrop Rams girls basketball team will be hosting the Wossman Lady Wildcats. These two teams are numbers 1 and 2 in non-select Division II power rankings, and it is for the outright district championship. Joining us right now is the head coach of the Wossman Lady Wildcats, the one, the only coach, Otis Robinson. Coach Robinson, thank you for joining us, and how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
We're doing good, sir.
Are
Coach,
are you able to hear me?
yes, sir. I hear you fine. Yes, sir. Hear you real good. Coach, you used to coach soccer, I see.
Yeah.
So how did that come about, coaching boys soccer and then coaching girls soccer?
Well, what happened? I was coaching football, defense coordinator, and basketball, and we had a soccer coach. He brought the program to the school, and he did it 1 year, and he ended up leaving. And so, of course, the boys they were enjoying it, and they wanted to keep it. So they decided to go to Principal Sam Moore and ask him if I could be the one to take over the soccer program. And of course, he came to me, and I accepted the challenge.
How did coaching girls soccer make you love coaching girls?
Well, really, it was a blessing in disguise because, we only had boys soccer. Then I ended up having a co-ed team, and then more girls wanted to play, so we had to start another program with the girls only. So like I said, it was God's sense. So with coaching the girls on soccer, it helped me out to understand uh, the natural things that the girls go through, the mood swings and all that. So once I took over the girls program, I was equipped and already ready for those aspects.
Coach, you are in your third year of coaching the girls basketball team, and already you've won 2 state championships. Talk about your 2022 state championships and then your 2023 state championship.
Well, 2022, going in your first year as the head coach, I was assistant on the team before that. And so the girls actually, they knew me, they knew my style, they knew how hard I worked, and they know how hard I wanted them to work. And I got to tell everybody, going into that first year, I wasn't really expecting to win it the first year. I was saying maybe the second year, but the girls, they caught in, they bought into what I was preaching. They worked hard and did what they were supposed to do. We ended up winning that thing our first year. And it starts with leadership, on the basketball court. Yeah, I'm the coach, me, Gigi, and Coach Deal, but without the leaders being on the floor and in practice, doing stuff the right way, and the other younger girls leading, following them to make sure we accomplish their goal, everything was fine.
How hard is it right now, or is there any pressure on you and your team to get this three-peat done?
Well, we've been hearing that, three-peat, three-peat, three-peat. But you got to realize too, the girls they love the pressure. They strive for it because when we won it in 22, I had 2 freshmen, 2 sophomores, and a senior starting. So those girls they have the experience. They've been on the big stage twice. Because of course 223. So like they're ready for it, but they're staying on at the same time. They already know it take one game at a time. So they're doing what they're supposed to do as a unit to try to accomplish this goal one more time.
Talk about your team this year that you're coaching, from some of the players that's on your team, as you guys are ranked number 1 in the power rankings.
You talk about the players?
Yes, sir.
I mean, man, we have a dynamic four. We call them. We have Anara Wilson, which is our point guard. She's a junior. Anara, she's so poised, man. She love handling the basketball. She don't fold under pressure. You send 2 or 3 people at her. She keeps her dribble alive until she's able to make a pass. She know how to get out of trouble. Ross, which is our senior, Denia Ross. She's that girl. She's one of those, man. She grew up playing with guys. So the incredible passes that she throws, I mean, she practiced that all the time. It's not something she just picked up and started doing. She's been playing all her life, and You leave her open, she's gonna drop it down. She can handle the basketball also. When you're playing with two girls that can handle the basketball, man, like I tell everybody, sometimes it makes it real easy for you. Because you try to take one away and the other one, she'll step up and she'll handle the ball. And then we goes to Ramaya Alverson, which is my other junior. Um, Man, the mid-range jumper can jump out the gym. She's gonna hustle from end to end. Defense, she want to hold a tough player. Sometimes we gotta tell them, no, not tonight. We're not gonna let you hold her. We're gonna put someone else on her. And but she wants that challenge. And my other center, Brittany Burton, which she's signee of Southeastern for next year. My post player, she's in the paint, dominating the paint, blocking out, blocking shots, and just making it hard for you to drive in to score the basket. And I can't leave out my other guards, Camilla Manyweather and Katrika Mott Franklin. Those two that they're not the best ball handlers, but they're gonna do exactly what we asked them to do. They're gonna hustle. They're gonna play defense. They want to hold the best player also. Because they are my track runners. I tell everybody, they go stay in the track. They've been going there since they're freshmen. They're seniors this year. So they go in the 100, 200, 4x1. So they're going to run the court also.
You guys have a 21-4 record. My question to you as a coach, when you happen to have a tough loss like the Southern Lab or Lafayette Christian, how are you able to get your team to focus on the next task at hand?
Well, like I tell them, you can't win them all. And sometimes when you lose, once again, what I throw them, I say a blessing in disguise all the time.
True.
Because what happens is a lot of coaches try to blame the officials. And I'm the type of coach, I don't blame the official. I blame me, myself. What could I have done different, in that ball game to make sure that we would have stayed of course and won the game? What did I do wrong? Did I make the proper sub? Did I run the proper play? What did I do? So to keeping them focused, just let them know, listen, yeah, we lost, but we can always rebound because we still can move forward within that because we're losing early. So to lose early is really teaching you what you need to pick up and practice and do. And so when it's time for the big win, the big game, you're prepared for it because every loss that we had, we as a coaching staff, we learned something that we did not put in before we actually played that game. So it really makes us all around player with a team when stuff like that happen. I mean, we lost to 4 good ball clubs. We lost to Huntington, Lafayette Christian, Parkway, and Southern Lab. We're talking about teams that either won state or were runner-ups or lost out in the quarterfinals, semifinals. We lost to some pretty decent ball clubs. Huntington #1 in their division, Lafayette Christian #1 in their division, Southern Lab #1 in their division, and Parkway #5, which could easily be #1.
Mm-hmm. Big game tomorrow night for the outright district championship. You guys are traveling to Bastrop. Bastrop is undefeated. Number one, what will the atmosphere be like? Number two, what will it take for you guys to go there and come out with the victory?
Well, like you said, man, a big game coming up on tomorrow night. And, we're going to Bastrop, in Bastrop. Their fans going to come in. Coach Thomas, man, he's doing a great job with those girls. 2 years ago, they were in the semifinals. So this group, this senior group, they have a taste of being in the top 28, March Madness. Last year, they ended up losing to us in the third round. So they're hungry. They want to play us. They're going to come in, give us their best game. And one thing about it, we're prepared. But I'm kind of worried at the same time, because I don't know what Bastrop is going to do. Like I say, the girls that bought into what he's doing, and we just got to continue to play our ball game and try not to let them dictate what we do. And not only that, that game has been changed. How normally the girls will play before the boys. On tomorrow night, our boys will play before us, so we will play the last game on tomorrow night. So we know it's going to be a crowd in there. They're going to have, like I say, that's what you want. You want to play in that atmosphere.
George Peppers, I pass it on to you, my friend.
Thank you, Coach Robinson. First of all, thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule for joining us, and we greatly appreciate it.
problem.
Piggybacking on the first question, I wanted to ask you about that game tomorrow night. How does that game prepare you for the playoffs coming up? I mean, I know it's for the district title. Of course, that's the first thing you got to try to win is the district championship. But a game like that against an undefeated team in a hostile environment, how does that prepare your team for the playoffs here in a couple of weeks?
Well, first of all, it's going to prepare us because now we got to go in and tune out the crowd. We're not
Mhm.
for the crowd. We're playing for ourselves to make sure we're able to, advance on, like you said, winning district. Preparing for, we take one game at a time.
Right.
And we saying this game here going to solidify the district champ, but what we actually do here in our district, this will be the last district game, but we also have a district tournament. And what that means is on next week, we'll play 3 days, Monday, Wednesday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, with the first number one seed receiving the bye. And whoever wins the tournament is crowned the district champ.
Gotcha.
So that's
Okay.
in our district this way. But like I say, with the crowd there, my girls, the girls I have played on the big stage. They're used to the crowd. They're used to the atmosphere. It's just keeping their composure is what we need to do. Keep composure and do what we need to do.
I'll say this: I've kind of getting a look at your schedule. I looked at it right before you came on, and phew, there's some dynamite fields you've had to go through this year. I mean, some incredibly good teams. You mentioned West Monroe, Zachary, Lafayette Christian, who won the Sugar Bowl tournament earlier this month, and also has maybe one of the best players in the state, and Jada Richard. Well, let's talk about that game. That game was a very close game you guys played, but talk about Jada. You've seen her up close and personal, and uh, your thoughts on her? Obviously, she's probably the number one player in the state. Going to go to LSU. I think she has signed. Watching her play, what could you take away from her game?
I mean, you can't take anything away from the girl. She has the will to win. Because I don't know if y'all know this or not, but we were actually, I'm one of those coaches. I'm not going to sugarcoat anything. We were actually up by like 18, close to 20 points.
I was there.
And that girl, man, she took over. She put her team on her back and said, "We're not going to lose this game," and then she did all that she could do to make sure they won. I mean, Coach Rogers, he's doing an amazing job with those young ladies. They're listening to him, buying into what he have going on. Of
Mhm.
course, I think they're one of the last 2-3 years.
3 years.
So I mean,
Three.
she's an awesome player.
When you look at your team in preparation for tomorrow night, how have the girls gone this week? I mean, as far as you know what's at stake tomorrow night, a district championship. Well, I mean, the lead in the district and probably the bye into the district tournament next week. How has the preparations been for your girls tomorrow night, understanding the challenge, and how have they looked this week as far as practice?
Oh, and practice, of course, when you're dealing with kids, you have to continue to let them know, listen, you still have to stay focused, do what you need to do. Because they were trying to move to the Bastrop game before we played Tuesday. And I said, listen, you got to take one game at a time, And a lot
Mhm.
of the girls on Bastrop team, because, we only like 25 minutes away from one another. Some of them
Right.
may AAU with each other. So, I mean, they talk to each other all the time. So it's really both teams want to win the game because of that, because they know each other. And the girls, they came in, they practiced hard this week, the last couple of days. Um, what I threw out at them, we put a couple of new wrinkles in, and to prepare for basketball, hopefully it worked for us.
What would it mean for you to pull this three-peat off personally as a coach? I mean, it's your third year there. You've already cut a couple of state titles in the holster. But if you pull this off, that's a three-peat. What would it mean for you personally to win this? To win this again, a third straight year.
I mean, it'd be awesome, I mean, how many people can actually say in this area, well, in my area, that
Hmm.
they're, and I like starting trends, so if it starts with me, I love it, and the girls, I mean, it's basically for them, I coach for the kids. You want if you see a lot of stuff, a lot of pictures that we have after we win, I go to the back, because it's not for me, it's for the girls in the community, and God put me in place to just make everything strive for the community and for the school that I'm surrounding myself with.
and that's to be commended. That's coaches. And look, they're a rare breed, but guys like you, man, I appreciate people like you that have that kind. I love the humility and the humbleness that you show. That's awesome, man. And my last question, before I turn it back over to JB, um, is Bastrop in your mind, out of the teams you've played a lot of really good teams, but the Bastrop team you're going to tomorrow night, 25 minutes away, is this the best team you're going to play? I mean, yeah, the undefeated record says one thing, but you've played some real tough opponents. Where does this Bastrop team rank to you, in relation to who you've played already to this point?
One thing about me, I don't overlook anybody.
Right.
They're not undefeated for no reason. They're undefeated, and to be undefeated means you beat teams. Every team you've played on your schedule, you have beat them. So for you, and they played some tough games. They end up winning a couple of games in overtime. Um, so with that being said, hey, they're ranked high in my caliber, but with just having an undefeated season.
Coach Robinson,
Uh-huh.
tomorrow night, good luck to you against the Bastard Rams. Good luck to you throughout the rest of the season. And thank you for joining us on this show tonight. We truly appreciate it.
And man, I thank you all for having me. I sure appreciate it. It's something big for the area. Knowing that I'm on here, and maybe later on someone else will be on following my footsteps will be on here also.
Yes, sir. Most definitely.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Coach. Truly appreciate it. That was Coach Otis Robinson of the Wossman Lady Wildcats. Big game tomorrow night against the Bastard Rams. I thought it for the district championship. I didn't know they were doing a tournament.
Me neither.
But hey, it's for the number one seed in the district. Let's put it like
Yeah,
that.
exactly.
For the number one seed in the district, and you get a bye. Man, you look back at these rankings, George. The same district, numbers 1 and 2. This is huge for
Hmm.
this Monroe area, and this is huge, period. Because this can swing power rankings from one way to another, especially if Bastrop wins tomorrow night and wins the tournament. This can swing
Hmm.
power rankings. So this is very important. And you never know. We might get this matchup again in Hammond for the championship, George.
We might. I mean, it's a real possibility. Let's say this: Bastrop, they're undefeated, and the only reason they're number two is because they haven't played the caliber of teams that Wossman has played. Look at Wossman's schedule; it's littered with really, really good teams that are highly ranked, state championship favorites. Southern Lab, Lafayette Christian, Zachary's a team that's got a shot. West Monroe, it's another one that could be a potential run somewhere in these playoffs. So Watsman's not afraid to test themselves. You know what? When you look at and look, let me say this first. I feel like such a fool right now because when I asked him about Zeta, I completely mind blocked that the loss they took was at the Sugar Bowl in that game. And I was like, oh wow, that's them. And I didn't want to touch
Yeah, that was
nerves.
them. And I was like,
Yeah, I know. I was like, oh Jesus, I didn't want to touch nerves or nothing. But you know what? Hey, what did he say at the beginning? He won't sugarcoat nothing, and that's why I asked that question. Because I wanted to see how far that was going to go. And hey, you know what? He's humble, but he's very open, and that's the kind of people I like. I respect. But this Wasserman team has played better teams, and for me, and I know we're about to get Bastrop's coach on here in a minute.
yep,
But this is a game I would earmark to watch tomorrow night, just to see the atmosphere, in that building, and it's big when the girls are following the boys.
yep,
You cannot underscore the importance of this game. Say what you want about, well, I hate district tournaments. That's what they do. It is what it is. Bastrop can really make a statement, and it's in their gym. And what do they always tell you? Hold serve at home to protect your home court, right?
right,
So Wassman's going to have to bring it. But you know what? With the schedule that they've played, you would think that those girls are not going to be phased, JB. I think they're in a good spot, but the Rams are no slouch. I mean, you're not undefeated, by
29
making
and
mistakes.
0,
Yeah,
29 and
exactly.
0 speak volumes. Speak volumes.
It, it,
If
it's
anybody
decibel.
say anything about, no, don't even go there because 29 and 0 speaks volumes.
Absolutely. You're not 29 don't know by accident.
That's right.
If you understand the challenges of going through a season and not having lost a game, who's the pressure on, JB, for you in this game? So, who do you think has the more pressure tomorrow night? Is it Wossman, the two-time state champions who've played the greater schedule, or is it Bastrop, who's undefeated, but maybe here's some of those smirks of, well, they haven't played really. Their schedule hasn't been up to snuff, and this and that, whatever. Who do you feel like has the more impetus to be the more proving ground tomorrow night?
I think it's an even playing field. This is why Wossman has been there. They have won 2 state championships in a row.
Mhm.
Bastrop is at home. They have
Yep.
the home court advantage, and the people at Bastrop are ready for this. They are ready. They're going to lay it all out on the line. I think it's even. I don't think anybody's feeling pressure at all. I think we're in for a magnificent ball game come tomorrow night in Bastrop, Louisiana, with the two-time defending state champions coming into town.
And
Um,
if that game was closer in proximity, I'd be there.
Man, hey,
I'm just
I
saying.
wish I could drive 4.5 hours to Bastrop from
You ain't
here.
lying.
From here
You're
in New
not
Orleans to
kidding.
go there. I would love it, man. This that
I'd take
is
that ride with you.
Oh yeah, I know you would. And to
Yep.
have this girls game be last to be the headliner, that tells you how big this game is. Because like we all know,
Hmm.
the boys always go last when the boys and girls play the varsity. When they play, the boys
Not
always go
tomorrow
last.
night.
Not tomorrow night in Baton, Louisiana. Not tomorrow night at all. We're going to take one more commercial break. And when we come back, the head coach of the Baton Rams lady basketball team, Coach Kevin Thomas, he's going to join us right here
Let's go.
on the Hash It Out show.
Hey, my name is Trishawn Ware. I'm a DB for Brother Martin Crusaders, and you're watching the Hash It Out Show.
We are back on the Hash It Out show. As we talked about earlier, big time matchup in Northeast Louisiana between the Wossman Lady Wildcats and the Bastrop Lady Rams. We had Coach Otis Robinson of the Wossman Lady Wildcats join us a few minutes ago. Now we are joined by the opposing coach that Coach Robinson will be facing. He is the head coach of the Bastrop Lady Rams, the one, the only Coach Kevin Thomas. Coach Thomas, thank you for joining us. And how you doing today, sir?
I'm doing good, sir. How are you?
Oh, doing great. Can't complain. Coach, what was it or who was it that got you into coaching?
I got into coaching about 26 years ago. It was a friend of mine named Coach Albert Tippett. He got me to coaching junior high football. I went from junior high football to high school football. Then I had a little break. I went back to junior high, and we had some consolidation in Bastrop, and I decided to try to get the girls' job, and I got it, and I've been working here ever since. This will be my 5th year right here with the girls' basketball, but I've been coaching 26 years total.
Good deal. Good deal. Back in 2022, you lost in the semis to Ellender. 2023, you lost in the quarterfinals. Going into this year, before the season even started, what was the mindset of your players?
They had the mindset that they wanted to make it to the Hammond, and then they wanted to make it to the championship game, not lose out in the semifinals. These were the same girls that was on the team in 2022. They were sophomores, but they got a lot of playing time that year, so they was kind of hungry. Last year, we made it to the 3rd round, and we ran into Wossman, and so they was hungry, and their mindset this year was to come out and work hard every day, and our goal was to make it to Hammond, to the championship game.
Each year, every team is different. How would you describe your team this year?
This year, I think we're a little bit more cerebral than what we have been in the past. They've been in the system since ninth grade. This is I got a good group of seniors, and they understand the game. They're not just playing with their physical attributes and their talent. They playing with their mental part, and they kind of understand it more now.
You guys are 29-0. And most people look at it like, man, wow, wow, wow. But most people don't know that you guys have had some tough games. A 1 point overtime win over Ponchatoula. And then just past Tuesday, overtime victory over Sterlington. Talk about when adversity hits your team, how they're able to deal with it.
Um, they're able to deal with it this year. Last year, down the stretch, we had some injuries, and that caused us to have that lull at the end of the season. We still made it to the third round, but we felt like we could have did better. So this year, we haven't had any injuries, but adversity, we just don't let it phase. They don't let it phase them. They know that they have it in them, and they're gonna keep fighting to the last whistle, to the last second go off.
Tomorrow night, Wossman Lady Wildcats, the two-time state defending champions, are coming into Bastrop. You guys are hosting them. What will the atmosphere be like tomorrow night? And what will it take from your team to come out with the victory?
Oh, the atmosphere gonna be wild. It's gonna be ecstatic. We expected a full house from the get go. Um, so it's gonna be like it was last year at Washington when we went down there in the third round. They had a full house, and they came out and they played to the crowd, and they kind of got on top of us real quick, and it was over with. This year, I don't think it's gonna be like that. Um, what we have to do is we just got to maintain and handle their man-to-man pressure and their presses. Um, Keep them off the glass. They go real hard to the board on the offensive end and get a lot of rebounds, and we got to cut that out. Don't give them too many second and third shots. Know where their shooters are, and make sure we get to those. And just play good sound defense. Play our type of game. We're not the type of team that like to run up and down the floor. We're the type of team that we like to set up we make a shot, we get back and set up in our defense and make a team work, make them work to get a shot. We're not trying to get the game in the 60s or 70s. We want to keep it in the 50s. So if we there at the end, we have a chance. We have a chance.
George Peppers, I turn it to you.
Coach Thomas, first of all, thank you for taking the time for joining us on your out of your very busy schedule, and congratulations on the season you've had. And I want to talk about the fact that you guys are undefeated, 29-0. You know, people could say what they want, and you may have critics and whatnot, but talk about how difficult it is to have this kind of record, and then having to play the two-time state champions tomorrow night. But talk about to this point, before Watson tomorrow night, how you able to keep these girls locked in, focused, and have the record you have, undefeated, 29-0.
It's very hard. We are 29 and old. Our schedule wasn't super tough, but we have played some tough teams.
Yep.
But the thing about it is, our goal from the get go, we know Wossman is the champ. We got to go through them. So our goal has always been to beat who we play, who on our schedule, until we get to Wossman, and we will see what happens when we get there. It's not. We don't care if we playing a Class A team or a 4A or a 5A team. We're gonna play our type of game
Hmm.
and try to come out on top. And we've done that for 29 straight games. Now we have had some lulls in the season because we have seen some teams that we look at them and say, the girls look at them and say, oh, we got them, and then they don't want to come out and play hard. So my philosophy on that is, if you don't play hard in the game, practice the next day gonna be just as hard. So they don't want that. So they go out and play hard, and it has helped us to get to 29-0. It has helped us to get to this game where we see in Wossman right here, and I'm quite sure it doesn't matter who win this game right here. We probably gonna meet again on down the road, and that's what we want.
Hmm.
To be the champ, we got to beat the champ.
Sounds like some Ric Flair stuff there. That's cool. I appreciate that. Um, Let me say, admittedly, my host and myself, we didn't know the structure of y'all district. We were under the impression that tomorrow night was for the whole kit and caboodle, the district title. But you guys are going to play a district tournament next week, Monday,
Yes, sir.
Tuesday, and Wednesday, to determine who wins this district. Now, obviously, you guys are sitting at two in the PowerPoints, and I would imagine you beat Wossman tomorrow night, then come back and win the district tourney. You're going to be the number one seed. But talk about the fact that you potentially could see this Wossman team again on such a quick turnaround. Tomorrow night, and potentially maybe for a title on Wednesday. Talk about having to play this team twice. And twofold question that also, how do you think that prepares you for the playoffs as we get into a playoff setting?
It gets us well prepared for the playoffs, playing Wossman twice in back-to-back weeks, whether we win or lose. Um, I've already talked to the girls about this. We're gonna play them this week. We're gonna play them Friday. We're probably gonna turn around and have to play them next Thursday, and then in 2 more weeks we want to play them again. If they still won and we still two, or they won and we three, or we four, it doesn't matter. They the top dog, and that's who we got to beat. So,
Mhm.
as many times as it take to play them to get us ready to meet them in Hammond, that's what we want.
And it seems like you guys, y'all took a tough loss to that team last year in the third round, like you mentioned. They are the two-time state champions, and you're talking about everything else. It feels like that your team has been fueled by that loss line, driven by that loss last year. It feels like some redemption is in store. Talk about what's been the biggest motivating factor for you guys into this season and to this point.
My girls are motivated by winning a state championship. They want a ring before they leave Bastrop High. That's their motivation. That's their ultimate goal. That's their ultimate motivation. Now we know we have to go through Osmond, but it doesn't matter who we really meet. We really trying to get to the state championship game, and that's their motivation. Now we know Wiseman is probably gonna be in the way, and everybody else know that. That's why they make this out to be a big game. But we trying to do what Wiseman has done the past 2 years. We was when Wiseman won their first championship. That's the year we lost in the semifinals, and our girls said, "Dingin, if they can do it, we can do it." That's the mindset they have. Last year, we just happened to meet them in the third round instead of the semifinals or the finals, and they beat us at their place. We want to get them on a neutral court and for the championship and see what happens.
And what would it mean to you personally? And I think there would be a little extra if Watson's the team that makes it happen for you. What would it mean for you personally to win a state title and kind of add a little bit into it, and maybe let it be Wasman the team that you beat to get to the promised land and winning a title? What would it mean for you personally?
Personally, it would be great. I just like I love coaching, and I love it more for the kids than for myself. It's really not about me. I love coaching. I love doing the job. I love competition. I want a ring. I would love to have one, but I'm doing it more for the kids. If we beat Wiseman, we beat Wiseman. If we beat somebody else, we beat somebody else. We just want to get that ring. It doesn't.
Right.
That's it for us. We just want to get
Mhm.
that ring, and it would be getting a ring would really cap my coaching career off. I'm kind of towards the end of it here, and I've coached boys basketball and went to the semifinals. I've coached football and we went to the semifinals. I've gotten very close over the years, but I have never gotten a ring. The years Bastrop did win in football, I had just left and I was in the reserves and I got sent to Afghanistan. And I kind of missed out on that, so it would just kept my career, and
And
I love it.
first of all, let me also say thank you for your service. Since you mentioned that, thank you for your service. You're a hero to us. But that's for every military member. As a former Army guy, so I'm very appreciative of your service. Um, Last question before I flip it back to JB to close this out. Talk about some of you, for those that don't follow Bastrop women girls basketball. Talk about some of your key players on your group, and what they're going to have to do to facilitate a win tomorrow night.
I got two senior guards that they really gonna have to put this team on their back. Mariah Hurd, number 23, and Jamil Peoples, and everybody in Northeast Louisiana know Mariah Hurd. Most of the teams we have played, they have tried gimmick defenses, sending two at her, trying to take the ball out of her hand, and that's kind of slows us down because she is our main ball handler. She's our she's the she's the key to start our car. And if we're going to win this game, she's going to have to be on point. I mean, she plays good defense. I'm going to need her to step that up. She's a great scorer when she wants to be. If she's not thinking too much, just go ahead and play. I'm going to need her to step that up. But also, Jamil Peoples is our shooting guard. I'm going to need some more from her tomorrow. She's a little laid back and lackadaisical, but when the lights comes on, she turns it up. And I'm gonna need her to turn it up a little extra. We're gonna need to hit some outside shots to open up that lane because we have a sophomore that's in the paint. If we can open it up for her, it can really hurt Wossman, I believe. So we're gonna have to. I'm gonna need those guards to be on point and hit some shots, and we'll go from there.
Coach Kevin Thomas, good luck to you tomorrow night. Good luck to you throughout the rest of the season. And thank you for taking time out of your schedule to join us on this show tonight. We appreciate it.
Thank you, sir.
Definitely.
Thank you.
That was Coach Kevin Thomas. Oh man, I wish I could have a time machine, George, and I could just go to Bastrop, Louisiana, man, and just sit down or stand against the door while they play this game. This girls'
Yeah.
game is getting more intriguing the more we talk about it. We've had both head coaches on the show. It's number one versus number two tomorrow night. Your thoughts
Mhm.
about Coach Kevin Thomas, right quick?
I like his humility, and again, being a former military guy, I mean, I appreciate his service to our country. But as a coach, he's one of those guys you root for to take down a state title. There's going to be a state title with his name on it, and it could very well be this year. I mean, maybe it's a collision course with them and Wossman. I see Albany is lying in the weeds right there too. That's a nice team. South Beauregard's got a really another good squad, but it feels like these two are on a collision course. And
Yeah,
how apropos would it be for those two to find their way to a state championship game, and play for the whole ball of wax? But you talk about a time machine. There are better odds of you standing at that game tomorrow night. There ain't gonna be a seat to be had. I feel like it's gonna be an on top of you kind of situation. In time machine, I would not mind that at all. I mean, to be in that gym tomorrow night, and considering it's the main event, the coup de grace, right? You
yes.
know, and this is just for the buy. This isn't for the district title.
A bye for
This
the
is for the
district
buy.
tournament. Yes.
Yeah, and it's like we're thinking, it's the typical district championship, and we're like hyping it up as such. But you know what? The game is still extremely important because that buy game is one less time you got to be on that court.
That's right.
So winner has an advantage. But the biggest thing that I like about Bastrop's team that Coach Thomas mentioned, I'm a big fan of teams that have experience at the point. You've seen your guard play and defense, and the ability to hit free throws is going to portend well for teams that have that. And it looks like Bastrop has it. They haven't lost a game yet, and we'll see if the interesting script for Bastrop. I'm about to call you VK. Wow.
I
Oof.
ain't no goddamn
Uh,
VK.
I know, I know, I know. But the biggest thing that will be for me, if let's say Bastrop wins tomorrow, right?
Yes.
Then they win the district tournament and win and stay undefeated and get to the playoffs. I would imagine, Jared, and how many times have we seen a team that doesn't play great teams? And even Coach Thomas admitted they haven't played great. There have been some good teams on that schedule that they've beaten, but they have not played the overall strength of schedule that Wossman has. I wonder how much more pressure would be on them going into the playoffs undefeated.
Good point. Good point. Um, I had another question for you.
What's that?
Remember when we talked to Coach Jennings and I mentioned to him that Shaw beat Jesuit 3 times that year, and
Right?
in the fourth meeting, Jesuit defeated Shaw, and that was for the state championship. We can see something like that, where one team won both games and they meet up for the championship, and the team that lost the previous two wins the championship. Or what if they split 1-1?
Hmm.
Now it's a best of three for the championship. I,
Tiebreaker.
yeah, I really, really think that Wossman has been there. They've been there. They have the
Mhm.
experience. Bastrop, they've gotten close. They've got to the semis. So they've tasted what going to Hammond is like. They've tasted it. And now Wossman has to go to Bastrop. And Bastrop wants revenge for the quarterfinal loss last year. And they want to prove this in front of their crowd. They want to show their crowd that, hey, we're 29-0. We want to be 30-0. And we want
Mhm.
to show the entire state of Louisiana that we're the best team in Division Two non-select.
They're gonna put the state on notice if they win tomorrow night, though. I'll say
I
that.
think I think the state is on notice, but now I think the state's going to really believe, like, whoa, they beat Wossman and they're 30-0. I I think because we're saying 29-0, and a lot of people are saying, yeah, they're 29-0. They hadn't
They
played
haven't
the
played a
type of
lot.
schedule that Wossman has had. But if
Mhm.
Bastrop beats Wossman, I'm telling you, now it's like, whoa, they're for real. Look out for Bastrop.
Put some respect on their name, right? I think would be
Correct.
the narrative.
Yes.
The
Yes.
other narrative is that they're for real. I don't. I'm not going to question the validity of Bastrop at all. I
Uh,
mean, you play, Jared. How many times have we seen it? You play what's in front of you,
Yep.
right?
That's right.
It's not their fault that some of those teams have not been up to snuff. That they're. I see a couple of bad teams on that schedule. That's not their fault. You
Nope.
play what's in front of you. But he said something extremely pointed to me to in the interview is that they look at games and they're like, "Oh, we got that." And then and I like how he just channels that and says, "Okay, y'all got that, huh? But when y'all play like that, watch this. The next day they run it. They probably running ends or whatnot, or whatever.
That's right.
What's the word they use? He's probably working them crazy. Which look, hey, that's to get those girls focused. But again, they're senior guards, and that's going to be huge against that Wossman team tomorrow night. That's senior leadership. You cannot underscore how important it is, and they continue to get better. They continue to get better. You think they're not chip on the shoulder ready tomorrow night? I mean, this is the same Wossman that put them out of the playoffs last year, and it's like if they get over that hump, that could buoy them to some very big things, i.e., state title, Southeastern Louisiana, Hammond. Could very well be. This could be one of those situations where if Bastrop breaks through, maybe they just juxtapose that and use that to make a run and win and finally go on top of the throne. But again, tomorrow night is just part one of what I think is
Part
going to
one.
be multiple meetings, district tournament for sure and potentially a playoff matchup. Now, if they're still 1-2, the only way they get there is the title game.
That's right.
So, but hey, I would not, if there's a split, like 1-1 and the tiebreaker be for the title, yeah, absolutely. That
Yes.
would be incredible. Incredible. And I can promise you both teams will show out as far as fan support. You can bet that. If those two get there, bro, I mean, Southeastern's going to be nice and full. Could be nice and full.
Yes. Coach Kevin Thomas said he does it for his kids, but deep inside, he wants to win a championship for his kids big time. And
Hmm.
he would like to have one for himself, which he did say he would love to have one for himself. Um, Hopefully that happens for him. Hopefully that happens for him. We're pulling for him. We're pulling for Wossman. We just here to promote high school sports and the high school athletes throughout the state of Louisiana. But at the same time, he wants it, but it's not going to be easy, George. You know it's not going to be easy when you have Wossman looking to get that three-peat. Because right now, Wossman doesn't want to end their streak of winning championships, but Bastrop would like to be the one to end that streak. Oh man, this is tomorrow night. Oh, I wish I could
I
be there. I wish I could be there for this one. I could just imagine right now the Bastrop Rams gym and their crowd in that gym just going off nonstop, stomping on the
hmm
bleachers, making noise. Oh, I think it's going to be a very, very electric atmosphere.
hmm Absolutely. I mean, a game like that, the stakes, what's on the line here, and I mean, yeah, well, it's just a buy. No, it ain't just a buy. It's one less game you got to play.
Yes.
If you win, I don't want to hear that just a buy craziness. That's silliness. So and we're hyping this game up. We have every right to, because it's two outstanding basketball teams. One that's trying to break through, the other trying to stay on top of the throne. Man, what better plot line can you get than this?
I don't
I
know.
mean, I can't think of any.
This is like the perfect writing, the perfect storm. I don't know, man, to have the number 1 and 2 team in Division 2 non-select playing tomorrow night for the
Hmm
number 1 seed in the district championship tournament. I don't think it gets any better than that. And then hold
Gonna
on,
be fun.
let's not forget they're headlining. They are headlining because they're going to play at 7. The boys
Yep.
play at 6.
Hmm.
It doesn't get any bigger than that, people. It doesn't. It
Nope.
doesn't. And I would like for more schools to do that, to do what they're doing,
hmm
allow if a situation like we have, Wossman and Bastrop, 1 and 2, undefeated in district,
Let the
play
girls
for
get
it,
their shine.
yeah, to play for a district championship or to play for
hmm
the number 1 seed for a district tournament. Allow the girls to go last. Let it
Let me
happen.
ask. You-
Let it
Let me
happen.
ask. I agree. Let me ask you though, how do you like that format? I don't know if I'm a fan of that format. I think, and I don't want to
What
say it
format?
waters
What
down
format?
the format about tomorrow night, playing for a bye instead of a title, and having to
Uh,
play another set of games for a potential title.
uh, I mean,
It's what it is.
I'm going to say this. I'm going to say this because at one time you played everybody in your district twice.
Yep.
Now the Catholic League still does it. Um, I don't know who else does though. They play a lot of non-conference games, a lot more non-conference games,
Mhm.
and I think Shaw and Landry's district, I believe they're doing a district championship tournament also. So this might be something that happens with everybody in the future, maybe. But I'm old school. I would love just to have an outright district champion. But then again, George, then again, this is what the NCAA has done for years. They've always had an tournament champion for their conference. So
Mhm.
maybe high school basketball in this state might be going towards that way. I don't know, but I would like the district championship. And I'm still a fan of each district playing each other twice. But
Yeah,
again,
I'm with that. I'm with you on that.
game
I'm old school.
times have changed, so but that's my feeling towards it.
Mhm. Absolutely, I agree. I'm in lockstep with you when it comes to the format, and I mean the fact that you could play each other twice, a home and home, and especially I'm more of a fan when the districts are deep in talent. I mean,
Yeah.
the format in and of itself is good, but I want to see high quality basketball, i.e., Catholic League. You know, seeing those teams get at it 2 times a year, and potentially if they're both in the same not preseason, but pre district tournament, where let's say like the Newman tournament or the CYO or something like that, that they could play each other the third time. Give me that. And I don't know if I'm a fan of playing for a bye though. I feel like with Bastrop being 29-0, it's like damn, if they lose, it's like well they could get it back next week. But you know, I don't know. I feel like let that game tomorrow night be for the title, and forget that rollover format that you're playing a couple of more games. Because look, and I'm not wishing this on nobody, but injuries happen, stuff happens.
Right, right.
You know that extra game or two could be the undoing of something cataclysmic happens, which obviously we hope not. But look, we were at the Sugar Bowl tournament, and Lafayette Christian suffered a bad loss in that game, in the
Bad injury.
game that
Bad
you and
injury.
I saw. What's that?
Not a loss, an injury. Had an injury.
Injury. That's what I
They
mean.
still won the thing. Yeah.
That's what I mean. An injury. When
Right.
I say that they lost a player, a debilitating injury. But I mean, that's what happens. I mean, stuff happens, and I'm not. Look, we have hyped this game a lot, and it deserves to be hyped because it is that game tomorrow night. I have a feeling you might be on your way there, man. You can. I think you're going to speak this into existence. You're speaking this into existence, dude. I feel. I know you, and I don't know your work schedule tomorrow. I don't know if you got to hit that truck tomorrow or whatever. But if you don't, I feel like you're on your way.
Not happening.
No,
Not
not
happening.
happening.
No, I wish. I wish, but
If there was a Concorde that could take you up there, yeah, you'd go.
yeah,
I mean, that speedy plane to be like, we get there in what 30 minutes, and
30
bam, we're good.
plus, yeah, yep.
Hmm.
Come right back. But
Yeah, exactly.
not happening this time, man.
I feel
I
you
will definitely keep an eye out on who wins this game because
for sure.
I need to know. I need to know who wins this game. That's just how.
Inquiring minds want to know. Inquiring minds need to know.
Yes.
You know, this game is going to be one of those games. And look, there's plenty of good basketball to be had tomorrow night.
Yep.
We mentioned we had Coach Jennings on. Jesuit Rummel looks to be a game where the Raiders are going to try to extract some revenge. And, Coach Jennings said it. That game was close until Jesuit started getting hot from the 3-point strike.
Yeah.
So that's not going to be a cakewalk. I mean, there's other great games. I mean, Og is in there too. Look, we got the pick of the kitty litter. Just
Yep.
wish if there was a Concord at Louis Armstrong, we could get on that bad boy, go to Bastrop, catch that game, and then catch that 30-minute ride back, and we good.
Yep.
So,
But not happening.
nope, it ain't.
Not happening. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that is our show for tonight. Special thank yous to Jesuit head basketball coach Chris Jennings, Wossman Lady Wildcats head basketball coach Otis Robinson, and the Bastrop Lady Rams head basketball coach Kevin Thomas. We want to thank them for taking time out their schedule and joining us on the Hash It Out show tonight. We're going to be back next week with some more guests, and I'm working on one right now. I was going to say his girls' team is 21-4. I'll leave it at that. I'm not going to say what school. I'm not going to say his name, but that's who I am working on to get on the show next week. Just got to see his schedule. And of course, try to get another head coach, try to get two, and we'll do it next week. Mr. Peppers, do you have any last words before we exit this program?
Uh, Great show tonight. Had 3 great interviews, 3 enlightening interviews. It's always fun to do this. Wish we would do it more. Obviously do it more than once, but and people are gonna say, well, y'all don't give basketball the same love you give football.
Because basketball is on Tuesdays and Fridays, and we trying to go out and get coverage and this and that. It's just a little harder.
Exactly. But there's a thing called the hashitoutshow.com, people. Y'all want to go look at some stuff? Or go to JB's YouTube page.
Yeah.
Subscribe. We tell you every time we come on. And I mean, this weekend, what do we have this weekend? Oh, we got the flag football game for the NFL. I mean, I'm kidding when I say that. I'm joking when I say that. Obviously, everybody's in tune for the Super Bowl. And look, we're going to give our picks next week for who we think is going to win the Super Bowl. I mean, if you're asking me if I'm going to watch the that flag football skills or whatever no, heck no. I mean, there's better ways to spend my time, and it's not that. So, with that said, it's going to be a great weekend of whatever you choose to do, and whatever you choose to do. Uh, the weather's not supposed to be good. If you decide to get out in it, be careful. Don't do nothing crazy. I know what Mardi Gras is coming up here in a couple of weeks, and um, should be that'll be in it of itself. That's always interesting. But the Hammond tournament, before we go, JB, that is back end of February, right? If I'm not mistaken, the state championships,
I know the last day is March 2nd.
March 2nd. Okay,
That's Saturday.
man. Okay, see and the benefits of where I'm at now as far as schedule. Every weekend I have off until April,
Oh, nice.
so I'm free on weekends. I'm just throwing it out there, dog. If you want to go make a championship game or two or
Yeah,
three,
it'll be hard because I have to be in Birmingham Friday and Saturday
not this week. I mean, are you talking about for
for the girls.
for for the girls tournament? Okay,
For the girls.
because if Wossman and Bastrop find their way there, yeah, yeah, just saying. But you know, um, for those that and whatnot. But again, I mean what I say when I say we do this every week, and it's always fun to do. I have friends of mine at work that love the show. They're like, man, y'all do a hell of a job. Y'all keep on doing what you do. I told you I had a run in with a guy a couple of months ago. I was working. I work at the sheriff's office, y'all. For those of you who don't already know, he came up to me and he said, "Man, I'm a big fan of your show and whatnot." And this just the love that we get whenever we go. How much interaction did we get this past year for football? How many people came up to us? A lot of people came up to us and just gave us all kind of love. And it's like, man, look, heck, they fed us too. I mean, which is not a bad thing, but we gotta watch the waistlines. That's what I'm saying. But Jared, whatever you do this weekend, bro, I know we'll keep in touch. But
Definitely.
have a great weekend, my friend.
Definitely. You too, man. Definitely. I'll let you know
I
about
will.
Friday. I know the Ponchatoula Showcase is Saturday. We've had the MLK Classic out here. Carver had their classic.
Mhm.
We had a bunch of classics. Now Ponchatoula having their showcase Saturday. A bunch of teams going up there to play. I don't know if I'm going. Depends on the weather. The weather is supposed to be
Man,
bad, so we'll see. But Friday night for sure, my friend. I'll let you know where
you
I'll
got that.
go. Yep, I'll let you know. But other than that, ladies and gentlemen, we thank y'all for watching the Hatch It Out show tonight. For George Peppers, I'm JB, the sports guy. VK Jones couldn't be here. He's on assignment. But somebody wanted to let him know how to pronounce their last name again.
Oh, here we go.
Hi, I'm Lisa Hiller from Ponchatoula Lady Wave, and you're watching the Hash Out Show.
Ooh,
Y'all
dirty
take
pool,
care.
baby.
Yeah. We'll see y'all next week.
Mhm.
You're watching the Hash It Out Show!
Thank you for watching the Hash It Out show. Please